We're shaking it off here, and we are live. And we're live a little bit early because we were talking about the Protector Symposium, specifically the energy. Like at the end, talk to us about, man. First of all, guys, welcome to the show. This is going to be an absolutely incredible show. I'm here with my homeboy Byron Rogers. We're talking about Protector Symposium5. We want to sell you on this, right? But at the same time, there's going to be a lot of education, a lot of jokes. I hope you guys stick around. We got some videos to show you, but the lineup is crazy. And I didn't mean to clickbait, but it is a once in a lifetime assembly of tactical professionals.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to us about the energy of the Protector Symposium, man. Feeling it right now.
I love it. And that's like one of my, I guess I go after culture, man. I go after, as human beings, I think one of the things that we're dealing with is the divisiveness, whatever your opinion is, I love it. The divisiveness is like a thing, and it really is a weakening thing to us as human beings. And so what I really go after is culture. I want to create these cultures, like a culture of protectors, like the protector nation. I don't care what your job is. I respect you for whatever your background is. But like today on this planet, how many people do we have that if an emergency happens are going to be just whipping out their cell phones, or are going to be whipping out a tourniquet or going to something or trying to help out, right?
Yeah.
The protector nation. Woo! Boom. So that is who. So I don't care what your background is. Like whether you're a mom, guess what? You're the protector. Whether you're a dude, a barista at Starbucks, that Starbucks is safer if you've got some training and you're a protector. If you're a special forces dude, boom. Yeah. High level protector. And so the protector demographic of the world is what we go after. So at these events, bro, and we were kicking it at the last one, Jim, and it was nasty. And I loved having you roll with me and just capture the organic stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, this is all toxic masculinity, isn't it? Listen, folks, if you're tired of the bullshit, if you're tired of the nonsense, if you're tired of being vilified, people are embarrassed or they're being shamed into being protectors, into being men and women of courage and honor and integrity. And we're being pigeonholed into this other movement that we have nothing to do with.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
wow.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, man. Anyway,
so,
man.
No.
Go ahead.
Man, and it's what the world needs. Like that's the world needs us to be like, no, we're going to be awesome. We're going to be capable. We're going to be meek, meaning we're going to be able to use a sword, but not necessarily, but know when to. Not meek, like you know what I mean. We're going to be capable human beings because at the end of the world, protectors are the white blood cells in the body of humanity. So with these events, man, this is the place for you to come learn. All that. So we have we're in Florida. We're chilling. We go through this crazy training battery. We got Tony Salmon out there. We got who all do we have at that
Real World Tactical? We had Mike Pannone. We even had Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman on there.
Jared Wahungi there. Right. So it was nasty. So everyone goes through this whole battery of training for 2 days. It pisses on us. We're in Florida, tropical rains, and we get to the end. And I just remember, one, it just feels like a family the whole time because that's the first thing I tell you when you get there. I don't care. You're here. I honor you for being here, for spending time and money, some of your most important assets to get here and learn how to be a better protector, right? And then at the end, everyone gets through and everyone's soaked and drenched and muddy and it was really Fight Clubby. The vibe was Fight Clubby because everyone was sitting there, and if you would have taken a snapshot, everyone looked like they ran through it. But the energy was people were reborn, man. Craig Douglas teaching them how to fight in cars, man, and everyone looking in their eyes we want more, we feel alive, man. And I just remember standing there being this is bangarang, man.
Well, here's the thing, man. A lot of people, even strong-willed individuals, were suppressed and just. They may be feeling defeated right now because of COVID or whatever else was going on in their life. Maybe they're not fit. Yeah, if you're one of these people, this is really of course it's tactical and you learn all the important stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You get to hang out with badasses. Yeah, but it's really, for me, I hate to sound hippie about it. It's like a restorative healing event.
It's good, man.
one of the most inspirational stories that came out of Protector Symposium 4, right? Because people sign up for this and they're like, oh, okay. And the videos are cool, which we're going to show.
Yeah.
Hang tight. The videos are cool. The people are cool and they're badasses.
You get to wear your pants.
Some people sign up and they're like, oh, okay, it's just another one of those seminars. And one of these people was this. He's a big guy, right? Like, let's be real. He was severely overweight.
Yep.
Right. And there were moments when I saw this guy where he felt, I can feel his energy. He felt out of place and he was approaching, right? Because for people who sign up for this, you get to train with each and every one of these instructors twice.
Yep.
Right. One
in the auditorium.
In the auditorium where they share their brains and their hearts with you, and then
the software.
Right. So this guy, he was approaching Tony Sentmanat's Real World Tacticals Gauntlet.
Dude, which was a ball buster because he brought a monster. He brought like a fire team of monsters from his fight gym over.
Dude, and I felt like Tony was squeezing a lot in there. He was training him in striking and grappling and shooting, but really it was all about resilience and in proving to yourself that you can do so much more that you think you can.
Yep, and knowing where you're at.
Oh my God. So, and this dude struggled through the whole entire thing. He had to carry his partner, drag sleds, shoot, box these little assholes that are just like
tatted up, murder instructor.
Shout out to my homeboy at KO gym in Miami. These little wiry little assholes, man, but they are full of love and skill, and they passed both to you.
Yes, so,
it was just, but in any case, this dude was a big guy. He was huffing and puffing the whole entire time, but nobody allowed him to quit. Every participant there, along with every instructor there, and it was raining and it was hot, and he did it, man.
Yeah, man. It was mad feel good movie-ish. Like it was like a movie from the Kevin Costner movie from the 90s. You know, like he's like out there on the field, just keep going and they won't let him quit. Tony messed up our schedule. This I loved actually. So my staff is running over to me and they're like, "Hey, we're getting off schedule, you know, like we're getting like Tony's not stopping." And I'm like, "What's going down?" So I go over there and he's like, "Yo, these guys are having problems getting through the exercises. I'm not giving up on them. They don't get to quit." He's like, "They'll eat. They can eat whenever they eat when I'm done with them." And I was like, "This is the mark of a man who cares and will not let you find an excuse to get out the hurt locker." And that same guy got through the exercises. We gave him most improved. And I told him I want to see you back here next year in better shape as a better protector. And so he's got a ticket. We're flying. He's
amazing.
To the event, so he's gonna be back out there, man. I'm
looking forward to seeing this guy, but you really created something special here. And I know, like, hey, look, man, I know everywhere you turn, I'm talking to the people watching right now, everywhere you turn, people trying to sell you something,
right?
And whether it's a product, a training event, a service, this, that, and the other thing. But you know, for what it's worth, I travel the world, man. I go to every one of these seminars. You've really created something extraordinary, something really, really special. And like I said, you learn all the amazing hard and soft skills. You'll improve your capabilities as a protector, which can carry over to, you know, maybe you're already a cop, maybe you want to be a soldier, or you are one, maybe you're a veteran, maybe you're a security guard at Walmart, maybe you're a single mom.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's something there, and everyone's there to support you. But we'll watch some of these videos, some of these promo videos, and they can be a little intimidating. They're dope, by the way.
Yo, they can be a little intimidating, but I want everyone to know this is where you go to learn and get better. We got spec ops dudes, agency dudes who can't even tell me where they work when I say hi to them. And then we got like moms, and that's the biggest compliment I get is, you know, most physically potent meat eat savage dude that might ball me up when we get to Raul Martinez's station to, you know, the mom that's like 110 pounds. I always get a compliment from both ends of the spectrum. They're like, "Man, I learned so much here." And it's just like, it's an honor.
All right. So we got a minute here. We're going to play one of the first guys there, Craig Sawman Sawyer. Can you give me can we, you know what? I'm just going to play it. Here it is, bros.
Send it.
Keynote presenter is another living legend, the infamous Craig Sawman Sawyer is going to be in the house, and he's going to be laying down some wisdom about what it takes to be a modern protector. He's got an amazing background, Navy SEAL, SEAL Team 6, sniper. He's got expertise in shooting, surveillance detection, anti-terror task force operations. Pretty much you name it, he's been doing it for decades. Some of you guys might recognize him from a few TV shows, Sniper, Deadliest Missions. He's been on all the seasons of Top Shot, Rhino Wars. He's been in the community and out in the field, really living the life of a warrior. He's been a lifelong warrior of many different disciplines. Recently, he founded the Veterans for Child Rescue organization, and their mission is simply to end child trafficking, child exploitation by really making the world a very non-permissive environment for the things that these evil people on the planet want to do. He's also created an amazing documentary called Contraland, which some more of you guys may recognize him from, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the bottom line is, as a keynote speaker, the Sawman has so much that we can all learn from, and it's going to be such an honor and privilege to learn from someone and to listen to someone talk about what it is to be a modern day protector who has so much experience at the highest levels in so many areas. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I
So
love
that's
it.
1 of 5, Craig Sawman Sawyer. Why is he? Why have you selected him? You know, aside from all of those badass reasons.
Yeah, man. So really, like he's been in this game since, to use a scientific term, pimping has been pimping. You know what I'm saying? And so we, as like just everyday people, like I'm a civilian that protects civilians. That's what I love about private security. It's like you like the disconnect that comes from you being like, well, mine's a Navy SEAL or something, which I'm not. You don't have that excuse. My whole goal with this whole event is to be like, look, what we need is for the civilian population to understand protection tactics to make the world a safer place. And that's the whole game. So why not learn from someone who's literally been doing this for my entire lifetime all over the world at the highest levels, and even as a civilian, now he's fighting all the forces of evil when it comes to one of the biggest industries in the world, which is human trafficking, which impacts everyone's lives, whether they realize it or not, and hopefully won't directly impact people's lives. But if you've seen the stuff I posted recently, this is a problem. And with all being able, so one of the reasons that I situated this event the way I did, with the Friday being all about the soft skills and the software of all of these arts. And Instructor Zero, when he was on my show, he hammered on this. You don't learn as much when you're doing this, okay? That Friday is so important because you're going to learn the ology, you're going to learn the software, right? Of all of these different contributors and elite instructors, art forms. So being able to have him as the keynote, where he's going to talk about what he sees, what he understands, see what I see, do what I do, have what I have. You'll be able to see the world the way he sees the world, and therefore see through the matrix and move like a real protector, which is what's missing. All the tactical protection reviews I do, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, this person isn't seeing. And then boom, it goes down. It's like, could have been avoided. So huge value add there, man.
Absolutely. I think all of these guys have something unique to offer, but I think one of the most important things is they have operational experiences that are not too far, because sometimes it's too far removed, and the relevance of what they learned may not be as relevant today. Mind you, principles and foundations all remain the same. Right. But sometimes people sort of lean in too much on their past experiences, who they were instead of who they are now. These are all right now people.
Yep. Right
now.
And that touches on something else that was huge when I'm putting this thing together is, someone asked me, like, are we doing rifles? And I'm like, we are doing what is most relevant to the protector, which is one-man tactics, pistols, being able to get physical, being able to understand amount, environment, and structure from inside, weaponology, understanding what around you can make into a weapon expediently, different things like that. All of these tactics here will have everything to do with your actual everyday life, whether you're law enforcement, professional protector, or civilian. We're not LERPing. We're not lurking's fun. You know what I mean? Fun and the rifle is fun, but I
with swords.
Yeah, I know, right? But I want you to be ready when you leave this place,
yes,
upgrading your PQ, your protection quotient in your everyday life.
No, I man, I love that so much. And to be honest, as a content creator, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of really cool stuff, but I'm glad that it isn't surface level, you know, that these guys really have something to offer. Okay, so the next guy we're going to play the next video. This dude, Ed Calderone, Ed's Manifesto on Instagram. He's got an interesting feed.
It's so multi-layered, it's not practical, you know what I mean? It's everything.
yeah. One time he posted a video of a swan swimming around and feeding hundreds of goldfish underneath him. And it was so cosmic and so totally seemingly unrelated. And this is, I'm getting into the depth, the universality about what it means, because sometimes we can get too fixated on the latest gear and the tactics and the muscles, but there's really something divine, if I can use that term to be a little bit hippie. Think about reconnecting to your purpose and who you are as a human being when you go to the Protector Symposium.
100%. It's all about that brotherhood, and protection is a skill. It's like a God-given thing. We have to be able to get food, water, shelter. We got to be able to protect our stuff. Otherwise, we're getting it for other people. The one thing I want to say about Ed, though, is he is a mad philosophical human. And of course, me, I have a master's of psychology, and I'm mad philosophical too. And I think because in his battlefield, same with the Marines, actually, but in his battlefield, he had to learn how to do more with less constantly all the time in order to survive. Right. He didn't have the kit, like all the cool guy stuff, like those cops who were standing around in Texas had, but he didn't have the gear. So he is all about the philosophy and the principles that will show you how to make whatever you have do what you need to do. And that's one thing I really love about him.
Man, okay, I want to play the next video, but more on Ed Calderone.
Yeah, man.
Man, my trip to Las Vegas, I was with my homeboy Sal Mascoli. Shout out Sal, United States Marine, LVPD, just a hard New Yorker, OG dude. And the theme of my trip there was breaking expectations and stereotypes. A lot of these guys, man, you look at them and they're like badass mother effers, door kicking, door gunners, super ninja guys. I mean, they've got tribal tattoos and beards.
Weirdos.
Yeah, weirdos. But I mean, Ed is a cosmic dude, man. He is a cosmic dude. And you talk about philosophy and you talk about breaking barriers. These guys have big hearts. And their brains are just like, I don't know. It's like this. I have this imagery of like this sterile room in a sci-fi universe where this pulsing brain is just controlling.
Like a labyrinth, man. There's a few of them I run into and they start talking and I just am like, it's like a labyrinth. It's like, I'm going to just take notes. I'm going to sit at this guy's feet and I'm going to learn everything I can while he's running.
Speaking of which, if some of you guys there are nursing injuries right now and you can't get physical, there is an option still. Correct me if I'm wrong, to go and attend this online or to only attend the keynote speaking part, which I think it's worth its weight in gold already. So
absolutely.
We're just knocking down all the excuses for people not to go to this thing. Oh, I got a knee injury. Well, you know what? You can just go to the keynote speaking part and enrich this. All right, let me go play Ed Calderone. For those who don't know him, here he is.
Boom, Protector Symposium 5.0. Next up, we've got Ed Calderone, the infamous, right? Ed Calderone background, he's been with a number of different protection agencies and quasi-law enforcement agencies south of the border in one of the most sophisticated battlefields that the world has ever known up until this point, Mexico. So dealing with cartel violence and all the things that go on down there, it is one of the most active, I want to call it a war zone, active theaters that we face today, with the most up-to-date and the quickest evolving battlefields that we do see in today's day and age. And Ed Calderone grew up in the midst of all of it, working as a professional protector and doing protection operations. he's going to lay out for us a special course that I've gone through as well, which is a weaponology course. This course will make you, this is one of the courses I've taken that I think can make a human being more dangerous than any other course you can take this year, because it teaches you the creativity needed to be able to turn pretty much anything around you into a weapon. It helps you understand on a deep level how weapons work, so you can understand on a deep level how to implement them and how to create them. So no matter where you are, if you have the knowledge you get from this weaponology course, you're going to be able to be dangerous if needed. And why is that important? Because the mission at the Protector Nation is to make the world a safer place by helping good people to become more willing, capable, prepared. Said differently, help good people become more dangerous. And we've had Ed at a number of these events, and he's always delivered on the highest level. I'm honored to bring him back in the house for Protector Symposium 5.0. Boom.
Yeah, woo!
Boom!
Right in the mouth, son.
When
Calderone.
When your video gets you fired up, bro. Like, it's so hot.
Man, there was something you said about that, and it's not often a word that you associate with tactical badassness and preparedness, which is creativity.
Oh, that's a dangerous one.
Creativity. And we painting with pastels on canvas here. What can you elaborate how creativity is such a critical skill to have in our daily lives as professionals or just as civilians who don't want to die easy?
Yeah, man. I think I guess so. I don't want to approach this from 1,000 feet, but 100-foot view, man. I feel like there's like crystallized intelligence, and then there's fluid intelligences, man. Mm-hmm. And you need to have some crystallized intelligence and know like what this object does, and you need to have some of that, and that's more like your tactics, right? But the guy that I'm really afraid of is the guy that's got that fluid intelligence. You can put him in any situation, anywhere, and he's going to find a way to superimpose his will or most of it. And no matter what the situation, and that's really what we need to do. That's why I do certain things with my training. That's why the force on force stuff is so important, because we can sometimes get crystallized in our tactics and in our like kind of even it can turn into dogmatic type of ideologies.
Tribalism.
All our stuff, but like if you're not out there banging and flowing and learning and this doesn't just go for tactics, this goes for everyday life. I think the type of intelligence I try to cultivate all the time is like mental alchemy, and that comes down to really strengthening my ability to be creative and just be an alchemist with no matter what happens. And so on the battlefield, while you're maneuvering and they're maneuvering, or you're on a plane, and now you need to figure out how to defend yourself, and you have like minutes, things are happening if you're lucky, right? Or you're in an environment you're not used to, or you're in an environment you're used to facing a threat you're not used to, or the creativity piece I've seen and also just know is really what sets warriors apart. It's, man, this problem's huge. That's if you don't have any available options. And the more creative you're used to being, quicker you'll be able to recognize available options and maneuver and survive and thrive. Actually,
I hear that, man. I hear that. Now, as a message to my people who do martial arts, right? I know a lot of you guys are martial artists out there. There is a tendency, and it's bred out of love, where you develop a trust and a love and a loyalty for your one teacher, for the one guy. And sometimes that manifests as being a real asshole online when you see something contrary to, well, that's not how I was taught, and that's not what I learned. Yeah. Right. And people want to be open-minded until it's time to do open-minded things. And this Protector Symposium, man, is a practice in that. It is not lip service. You're going there, you're learning from, 5-6 different people, and they may not all agree on the specifics of things. Yeah. But it is a step towards bringing that tendency breaking that tendency to not be dogmatic, to not be crystallized, to not be linear in your approach. Speaking of creativity, what's going through your mind? You're nodding. You're agreeing.
No, I'm agreeing with everything you said, because that's really what I want to do, man. I want to really get people out of their comfort zones. I want to get them a really chewy experience on multiple protection tactics, like overflow their cup, you'll take one or two things away from each instructor. And like, no matter what your discipline is, and even if you don't have a discipline, like maybe you're just like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to go to this event. Like maybe this will be my starting point even, you know, you're going to walk away with a multidisciplinary tactical training experience that is the opportunity. You know, we use these huge words, but it really, and that's what I put together. I got dudes here for this. You're never gonna get an exposure to this many high level dudes like at least this one ever again.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, a caveat. You're not gonna go to this event and all of a sudden going to be like super amazing at this stuff. I believe that this event is it's you need to bring your A game as a student too. You know what I mean? This is not a magic pill. You go to the Protector Symposium, all of a sudden you're a badass. You need to analyze yourself, right? How open-minded are you? How good are you at having the ability to be inspired and to retain information? Because this is overflowing. You know, bring lots of cups.
Yeah, like a different cup for each session.
Right. Everyone talks about emptying their cup. You're gonna need a lot of cups. You're gonna need like Tupperware
and you bring buckets.
Coolers.
Honestly, though, what you said is the truth. That's why, you know, for my brand, Executive Protection Lifestyle, protection is more than just a job. It's a lifestyle, is what we say, because training is exposure to tactics. Doesn't mean you've integrated those. You'll walk away from this event as part of a family of protectors, a nation of protectors in the world. That you will get by just being in the space. But in terms of your PQ, your protection quotient, your competence, it will be on you to maintain these skills, but you will get exposed to some really, really good skills. And that's what this is exposure. And also the adversity will show you who you are.
100%. But, you know, to that, like, there's a lot of people who go to these training events. It almost seems like just for the selfie. And to pad their social image, you know. And to those guys, I want to say,
there's gonna be a lot of selfies.
This is still a good event for that. Don't be that guy, but if you're that guy, you might not be that guy by the end of this. You're gonna be like, man, you know what? This is a great selfie. I look cool here, but. There's gonna be a self-humility that's gonna be like, I gotta actually type up some context. You know, it's not just me hanging out with Zero and Craig with their guns looking badass, but I'm gonna offer my people a little bit more, some context, maybe express some of that humility that you will certainly experience in an event like this. All right, next dude, Raul Martinez.
Woo!
I spent some time with Raul. I believe it was in Chicago or North Carolina. He was, I think, Fieldcraft Survival. Now he's Rogue Methods, but he is Raul Martinez, and he's always been. And here's the video of my homeboy Raul Martinez. He's gonna be there. Woo!
Boom.
First up, we've got Raul Martinez, who's going to be teaching handgun deployment and recovery. So for all you guys that are out there that do carry CCW and you're thinking, oh, I'll just shoot a guy, or you are prepared to utilize that tool in the defense of your life or someone around you, what happens if you pull that tool and you find yourself in close engagement? Do you know how to defend that weapon? What if that weapon's taken from you? There's a large percentage of people who actually get injured at the hands of their own weapon because all most people do is train on a flat, square range, right, in a vacuum. Raul is a specialist at helping protectors, law enforcement agencies, military forces. He's been traveling the country, training the best of the best on how to retain their firearms, how to get their firearms back if they're lost in the scuffle, and how to do everything that needs to be done in the clinch, in close, when it comes to firearms and their implementation and weapons and all their implementation. So it's an absolute honor to have Raul from Rogue Methods here with us training. It's going to be a type of training that many of you have not experienced. And it's going to seriously take your PQ, protection quotient, to the next level.
Boom! Yeah, man. me chills, man.
Man, I want to mention again because man, that Raul's video, and you know, last year I spoke with Craig Douglas, and that sometimes people watch these videos, and it looks hard, and there's almost a self-defeating voice inside your head that says you can't do that. That's too hard. But what I learned from being at my first Protector Symposium, and particularly with speaking with Craig Douglas, and I know that Raul is this way too. There is a process.
Yes.
Right? They're not going to throw you into the Shark Tank right away.
Actually,
you're going to learn. I mean, this happens with a lot of like fighting disciplines when it's like, oh, that looks badass. And you're almost satisfied just to watch the video and feel like you're trained. Because there's that self-defeating voice in your head that says you can't do that. But these guys, like I said, they care about your progress. They'll take you through it step by step, and they'll make sure.
100%. Yeah, man. I just had Raul on my show, and we talked about this very thing because I've spoken with a few different civilians and even females that are like, man, it just looks like it's so like, whoa, you know. And the thing is, man, these guys are professional trainers. They're professional instructors. They're going to literally walk, crawl, run you to that level, make sure you have a good partner who also understands how to be a good partner. Like in the video, it looks like all high speed and everything, and build you up to that level, but it's going to be done safely, effectively, no matter where you are at in your physical potency, whether you're female, whether you're a dude with a certain injury, like, hey man, my shoulder, we're here as a brotherhood to learn together and get better together. So being able to walk away after training a day with these guys and be able to do that stuff is like, it is the stations where people got physical and actually got to get flesh on flesh were the stations in every symposium, because I always put that in there, where people are literally like, man, that meant so much to me. Because how often do you get physical safely with a human? Do you ever get to feel that, you know? And it's a rebirth, man. It brings you to life.
Yeah, man. You know what I wish? I wish that the student population just got it, and you know, people like you and me didn't have to work so hard to market these events. They just understand, like, we can show like the boring stuff, like here are the foundations of hand fighting, and this is why it'll help you in your weapon retention work. You know, it's like that's what I wish. But at the same time, you know, like, these videos are dope, by the way. You're
thank you, man.
Fantastic job with them. But for me, right, it's important to let people know that, one, good training often looks ugly, and it often looks boring. Right? You see the outcome, right? You see step 9 and 10 out of 10. But really, the important stuff is how well you get through steps 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah. You got no video of Bruce Lee sitting there practicing that 1-inch punch for like years, probably. You know what I mean? Like, you got no pictures of when, you know, these guys start their journey, you know, like, so understanding that this is a process and its exposure. Yeah, man.
Right. But, you know, the good thing about it is well-experienced guys know this, right?
Yep.
They can look at a marketing video and be like, oh, I know exactly what they're working on. I want to work on that again. It's been years since I worked on that.
Yep.
So it's I guess it's cool because like I said, the well-experienced guys, they just know. Like, you can't fool them, right? You can have the coolest poster and like the coolest video.
Right.
They will dissect some of the guys are watching. Some of those guys are watching right now.
Frame on that video.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, what was that they were actually working on? Oh, they're fighting for underhooks. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Oh, and then they gather intelligence on a different level. And
100%.
Yeah, man. Okay, well, here we are. We are about to play the video from Instructor Zero, my homeboy.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, man, I'm excited about this one. Thank you.
I love this guy. All right,
yeah, man.
Zero is gonna be there. Oh man, here it is.
Top of the earth, man.
Next up, we've got an exotic treat for you guys from overseas. I'm really excited about this one. None other than Instructor Zero from over the pond. He's coming out here with us. He's going to be with us in the United States, and he's going to be running a course on fighting around vehicles, in and around vehicles. And this is not just any course on fighting in and around vehicles, besides the fact that it's going to be taught to you by the Instructor Zero, is the reality that he has given this course to some of the world's most elite fighting forces. This is a course that don't know if you're going to be able to get anywhere else for a very long time, or really ever, that he's doing something special for us. Where do 80% of force encounters happen? Where do these emergencies happen? Where are people generally attacked? They're generally attacked in transitional spaces. If you guys watch my my tactical protection reviews, you guys already know this. And so you've got to learn how to fight in and around vehicles. And who better to teach you than the infamous Instructor Zero? He's been in this game. He's a legend in this game. And it'll be an honor to have him over here in the U.S. Boom.
Yes. Zero, man. You know, Zero doesn't fire me up, bro. He warms my heart, man.
That's a good way to say it, man.
Yeah, I've been friends with this guy for a long time. And just a quick story, when we first burst onto the scene, you know, and one of his philosophies were, it doesn't matter what I did back then, look at what I can do now. And so for that purpose, now he's starting to release his background, his name, what he's done. But it was really important for him not to come out guns blazing with like, here are my medals and accolades and my operations. He was just like, hey, and that really created a lot for he and I, a lot of trouble at first, because they were like, who's this guy? He's a fake. He's a chef. He doesn't have. But you know, we go to a convention like SHOT Show, where all the badasses converge for a whole week, and like we've had dudes literally come up to him and like, you know, challenge who he is. And I'm like, dude, we got stuff to do. And he would make time for that dude with a big beard and the tattoos who've been there and done that. And they'd spend hours. And I've literally seen dudes at the end of that conversation in tears saying, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I did not do my due diligence. I made assumptions about who you are.
Yep. Because
go ahead. Well, I was going to say, you can't fake for very long.
Nope.
In this industry, there are guys out there who need all of 30 seconds to identify in person if you're full of shit or if you're not.
Yep.
Right. And he's still here. He's at the Protector Symposium. He continues to travel the world and train these elite fighting forces, and he gets called back.
Yep.
Which is important, man. What's your estimation of who is?
It's huge. He said this when he was on our when I was talking with him last week on my show, and he was just like, he talked about basically the quality of a person that, you know, he believes I'm trying to be. But for me too, that's what it is. And I don't know, I'm going to take this from an angle that might be a little bit high friction, but you know, I know who I am. I know where I come from. You know, I know that I've been to war and I've been blown up 5 times. I just recognize real, bro. I'm not saying I'm the realist, you know, I'm a student. Some of you might fold me up at the symposium, but I've been there, man. Like I can look at a dude, and when I see a real soul and a real warrior and a real guy that cares, and that's how me and him met. We were at SHOT Show, and we were in a room full of dudes. For example, one guy walks up to me, and this is right after this happened. Me and Instructor Zero started talking. He walks up and he's like, "Hey, I don't remember his name, but hey, my name's Brad, Navy SEAL, 8 years. Who are you?" And I'm like.
I didn't ask for your resume, man. I'm just me.
I was like, I was in the Marine Corps. Like, can we still hang out, bro? Let me go over here where like the rest of my platoon that I was in Iraq. There was like a fire team of my guys I was in Iraq with that were there. And then I walk up and I see Instructor Zero, and I recognize we introduce ourselves, and then basically, man, we basically just formed our own little pocket with just dudes that were just all we cared about was being good human beings. We know what we've done, and we're just dudes, man. Yeah, I mean, and so for me, that was everything for me to really be like, man, this guy is the real deal. And then, of course, you end up getting into, you know, the real world stories and things that you've actually done and stuff like that. But it's not like what you lead with. It's like the tactical dude who buys the gear thinking it'll make him better rather than focusing on like the training and his actual capabilities. You know, like we're spending money on hardware. Professionals spending money on software, right? That's why I made sure there's a Friday where we're going to spend time on software. But, you know, that conversation was just being able to be like, wow, like this guy's one of the real actual dudes who has a heart for this. And the other thing, real quick, you know, he was talking about this the other day. Like, I'm a victim of Instructor Zero, because what you don't realize is he is a ridiculously intellectually accomplished human being. He's a very deep philosophical human being, and he's a superior tactical human being than 90% of the necklace wearing, cargo pants having, you know, beard dudes and them out there. So, you know, I when you actually get to open up Pandora's box with him, you're like, oh my gosh, the floor drops, and you're like, this guy's got so much depth. I'm going to sit here at his feet, and then there's a few guys like that. Mike Panone's another one. You let him off the leash. You ask him a question. There's so much depth there that you just, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Zero's a killer in the kitchen, bro.
He seems like he sets his mind. He'd probably be awesome at.
You know, what's that saying? Something about how you do anything is how you do everything.
Things, yep.
Yeah, something like that. But so I was at his house in Italy.
Yeah.
He put on some Vivaldi, got into the zone.
Yeah.
And just created a mass. And it is an absolute extension of who he is as a professional.
Yes.
Attention to detail, preparedness, adaptability, creativity on the fly. Oh, I need to add more what? And
over-delivering. He seems like he always over-delivers.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, outcomes matter. And so that pasta dish, man, that was probably the best pasta dish I ever had in my whole entire life. And again, I hope people are sort of digging into what we're actually saying here, right? Right, we're trying to break down facades, and as cool as these videos are, as cool as you are, you're one of the most. I think you might be in second place next to Zero for one of the best dressed tactical professionals I've ever seen, man. You're sharp. Sorry, Zero still takes it for me.
Yeah, man, that's such an honor. Yeah, man.
But you know what I mean? We are so much more than these archetypes and icons that we are almost made to represent ourselves. There's so much depth in this lineup. There's so much depth in who you are personally and what you do.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
One
man.
thing I want to drop to with Zero, man, and I've seen this kind of in my industry, in the EP industry. He's an impressive human when it comes to the things he can do through social media. So what I've seen happen with a lot of guys that are like that is that people will start attacking them because it makes them insecure. You know, when you see a guy, when you're a firearms instructor or you're in that space and you see him doing what he can do, then you start to see the character assassination. You start to see people looking for ways to make him human. They start looking for ways to beat him down so that they're like, nah, you know, he's just a chef. So watch out for that when you hear people talk around the scuttlebutt around the bonfire. If you don't know the person, take notes, hold your peace, and then wait till you can get close enough to actually get a well-aimed shot in there to understand what that human being's really like, man.
Exactly. I'll share a quick story with you.
Yeah.
One time, Zero released a video. It's the infamous sock holster video. I don't know if you know about the sock holster video and how he was like crucified by so many of these tactical industry guys. So, long story short, he used a sock that you put on your feet, your shoes and your feet. He used a sock, and he showed it being used as a concealed carry holster.
Okay, right? So it's like you were doing the hood almost.
yeah, exactly.
Where you don't have freaking equipment, you know, like when you go and train some of the boys that don't have equipment, you know. Anyways,
right, and it was like people were saying you can buy holsters, you can get this Blackhawk, Serpa, Bravo, NSR, Alien Gear, and they were just like, why would you ever use this? And this can happen, and you can snag and blah. And people just failed to see the context that, hey, when you're deployed to a foreign country, you can't bring your favorite gun and all your gear.
Get them.
Right? You get whatever the fuck that you can get there, and then you have a choice. You have a choice to just strap it in, or you can have an added layer of comfort and not have that piece of steel right up against your balls.
Right.
And that was all the sock holster was. But
to
your point about, you know, people trying to bring people down and try to, and they most often do this by proposing their expertise.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't do that because I was taught this and this is what I did, without
Yeah.
realizing that, context makes all the difference in the world.
Yep.
Right? I didn't have what you had, right? And it wasn't the same environment. And so just in case, this is an option.
And now you have options in case you're somewhere new tomorrow,
Exactly. There was another one. Oh my God. Okay. Because I filmed a lot with Zero. We made a lot of training videos together. There was one where, and this was kind of dangerous, where like it was like the suffocation drill.
Okay.
Where he put on a mask and then a plastic bag around his head, and then he pushed himself to like the limit and to see how well he can remain precise and accurate and aggressive. And people are like, when are you ever going to fight with a grocery bag over your head?
You're missing the whole entire point.
First of all, remove the bag before you do all those things.
Because they're so wise.
Right. And again, that was a lesson in like oxygen deprivation, right? Which could be simulating the fact that maybe you're wearing a plate and you've run and your body's inflamed and you can barely catch your breath. There was another one where he dipped his hands for 10 minutes in ice cold water.
Yeah.
And then tested his accuracy. And that was just simulating the physiological response to cold, where your body takes all the blood out of your extremities and it gets into preservation mode. It keeps it where it keeps you alive. And people are like, well, when are you ever going to have your hands dipped in water? People just don't get that shit, man.
Yeah, it's about learning what you're capable of in as many different situations as possible and how that affects your performance, because you don't have a crystal ball and you're going to run. You very well probably are going to run into something that not even these internet commandos figured out. So you have some software, some experiential information, some idea of how to deal with it and push through. Like my Marine Corps training where we just got hammered on has came in handy in so many situations that have nothing to do with tactics, because I know how to suffer well, push through, have discipline, stay focused on the target, control what I control, prioritize and execute.
Hey, I'm going to talk to my martial artist friends out there one more time, and we're going to bring this together before we get into our last guest here.
Send it.
Oftentimes you see martial arts practice or training that don't immediately look like how fights happen.
Yep.
And the first comment is, no one fights like that. Maybe you're doing a flow drill, even maybe all the way up into the kata, right? There's so many drills out there that don't look like how fights manifest, but what they're developing are combat attributes that may be relevant to the fight. And it's not like that flow drill or that kata or that exercise is the only thing they do, but that's the only thing people comment on. When people go, slow and methodical, your internet troll will be like, why don't you try that at full speed? And that's part of it, but you can't go 100% hard, intense 100% of the time.
Right. And do it well first before you go fast.
Exactly. Like there's, even boxers, like they're not allowed to bring skipping ropes into the ring, but you need your road work. You need your cardio. All right. So all you martial artists out there who are just so dogmatic and linear about what you think good training is, just stop it. Stop it.
Consider some things.
Consider some things. Exactly. All right. So this next guy, I don't know. I've never heard of him. Right. But then I watched this video and then I looked a little bit on his Instagram and I was like, holy shit. How have I not come across this guy before? And I guess that's because there are so many pockets of influence that may be isolated from one another. And I've been in this industry for a while, but even then I was like, I've never heard of this guy before. So who's it? Kawa
2 Alpha. That's pretty awesome, man. But yeah, and also the algorithms, they don't necessarily let us all play.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna play this video and we'll learn about him together.
Boom, and up next we've got Kawa 2 Alpha 2 Quit in the house, and he's a former Green Beret that's been teaching agencies, elite fighting forces all over the United States and the globe for quite some time now. But specifically, in the art of close quarters battle or close quarters movement. How do you make entry? How do you move around in the urban environments that we frequent so often with your firearm? How do you navigate those environments effectively, whether it's a search for an aggressor or it's just to evacuate the aggressor? And in today's day and age where we're dealing with so many active human threats, whether it's active shooter or whatever it is, you very well could be faced with the reality that you need to make a decision, run, hide, or fight. Which one are you gonna do? If it's run, if it's hide, or if it's fight, and it's gonna happen in an urban environment, this class is going to help you. If you're an EP and you have to move your principal through the inside of a structure, do you know how to do that effectively? If you're in law enforcement and you have to get out of your vehicle and you have to move through that urban structure and search or fight your way out of that urban structure, someone goes active while you're at work, how are you gonna get to your car? How are you gonna get out of the school? These are the skills that 2 Alpha is gonna come, that Kawa is gonna come and help equip professional protectors with. This is gonna be amazing. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I didn't know you have never met Kawa.
No, I like his face. I like his face. I have a skill. I judge faces.
Dude, no, I read a study about that, man. There's definitely something to it. And I actually lean on it now because the dudes whose faces I don't like, I've never gotten along with them. There's one guy actually ever who actually turned out to be my best friend. But anyways, the rest of them I was right about. Anyways.
I have 3 sisters, and I all I need to do is look at their boyfriend's face, and I have 100% accuracy. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's science, maybe it's pseudoscience, maybe it's a little bit of both, but I think there's that thing, where you just look at somebody, and it is judgmental, right? Never judge a book by its cover. Don't do this at all, but I do it.
Yeah.
And Byron does it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's something. You can tell. I like this guy's face.
Yeah, man.
That's all I know about him.
Yeah, man. No, Kawa is so Marine Corps infantry, combat deployments, Fallujah, Green Beret. He basically has been really kind of specializing in the CQB realm and teaching agencies, and even doing some stuff, advising on some things in Hollywood. But he's the real deal. We actually, we're in the same sand around the same time. And I really wanted to reach out to him because CQB is one of the arts that, dude.
No one agrees on?
What's that?
It's one of the arts that no 2 CQB guys, they never agree on everything.
Yeah, oh, yeah. No, it's highly controversial, but we're in buildings every day. So, I wanted to touch these disciplines, and the theme is really urban protection tactics. Instructor 0 is going to talk about fighting around vehicles and how to use vehicles in our battle space. We have Kawa 2 Alpha is going to be talking about the fight inside structures, workplace violence. You're at Safeway or the grocery store when it happens, 7-Eleven. We're always in these structures, so understanding how to move, man, and with your CCW. It's really where it's at. Maybe you're that law enforcement officer who's rolling up to something and then you hear those shots inside the house. Why don't we train more on how to move inside these structures? So this is something I wanted to give people a really high level experience with. And he's one of the trainers doing a lot of training on that at some of the highest levels, man. So
that's super hot. Awesome. So I want to get back to, you put any two CQB guys in a room and they will never agree on anything. Here's what I've learned. They will agree on concepts and principles, right? They will generally agree. There may be specific disagreements, and maybe that came from the department, and maybe that came from experience, and maybe that came from new data. They won't agree on every specific way to enter and to stack and to breach and to move. They're never going to agree, but principally they all agree. And here's again, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to bring it back to martial arts. Is a lot of people take courses from these guys and they hear these instructors speak. And when they go online and they go, well, I was with this Delta Force instructor and he said never to do that because this, and that can happen. And they neglect to carry with that internet comment the fact that that same instructor said that there are going to be variances, there are going to be alternatives, you're going to need to adapt. And so this, again, happens a lot in martial arts. It happens so much in martial arts where people are like, well, that's not how you twist your arm to create the highest, energy transfer in the kinetic chain.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I live in Canada. Like I'm not my stance is going to be different than yours in the wintertime, So can you speak to this about being a principle-based learner and relate it back to CQB?
What I would say, dude, is no one's got a crystal ball, man. Like, so the way I learn, because I was in, where I say there's all humility, I went to my war and was in some combat and saw how fluid these things are and how quickly they happen. What I learned is that I don't want to be the guy practicing 800 trillion different moves, but I do want to be the guy who's aware of, and I know what I'm good at, but I'm aware of different things. I'm aware of what the enemy can do. I'm aware of different ways I can solve the problem. I want to be aware of all these things. And I get crap from some of my brothers that I love that are older than me in the game when I go sit under certain instructors, and they're like, "Oh, why are you going to go learn from that guy? You shoot better than that guy. Like, you're better than that guy." And I'm like, dude, one, I don't know that. Two, I can learn from anybody, man. Like, this whole experience of life is learning. I'm sitting there like hanging out with you, learning. I'm freaking sitting, on detail as an undercover homeless guy sitting next to another homeless guy learning. Okay, like, I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? And so I can learn from anybody. And I think that's ridiculously important. And like, for example, when I started getting into this tactical space and started to realize that some of the tactics that they were teaching us in the Marine Corps were the tactics necessary to make the baseline of the fighting force effective, not necessarily the most salient and most actually effective tactics, because those required more sophistication and time for mastery. They gave us basic stuff like never walk backwards, you know what I'm saying? And then I get to another course from a higher level guy who's a Green Beret and he's got dirt time and all this stuff. And he's like, we're going to run back. We're going to
right.
get the X. And I'm like,
yeah.
And I was, thank God, humble enough not to be like that guy. But of course, someone raised their hand like, what about never walk backwards? And he's like, do you have a crystal ball? Maybe you will need to move very quickly backwards, and this is the way combat works. And so for me, I'm learning everything from everyone. I'm going to get my stuff that I'm going to really, the fundamentals that I'm going to understand. Sure. And I'm going to have principles that are going to help me implement different tactics based on the context and the situation. And so, and the other thing is, you might hear something from one instructor that you don't, that another instructor told you wasn't legit, but you've got to respect that you don't have the perspective of either of those instructors if this is what they're doing, bro. I'm doing protection work, man. You know what I'm saying? If this is what these cats eat, sleep, and breathe, and I hear them say it, I'm going to really give it some consideration and some thought, because there's a reason they arrived at that conclusion. Not saying they're right. I might have to Bruce Lee it. Absorb what's useful, disregard what's useless, add what's essentially my own. But it is all very, very healthy food for thought.
Absolutely, man. That's such an important message. And I'm going to take us all the way out in left field, and I'm going to say something positive about probably the most divisive and hated martial art, Aikido. The Steven Seagal, five guys running at you with their arms out and wrist locks and all this crap. It's just it's probably the most bashed, misrepresented martial art out there. And everyone's about boxing and Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. But again, talking about context, right? If you are protecting Justin Bieber, I think I may have told this before. Like, if you're protecting Justin Bieber or some celebrity and it's a red carpet event, there's 100 cameras in front of you, and some overzealous fan holds that handshake for a little too long or starts to get a little bit pre-assaultive, maybe you don't want to just elbow that guy right in the face and knock him out, because these cameras are flashing. You're going to create liabilities for your what's the word? Your subject, your client, right? And it's going to be a headache. It's going to be liabilities for you, your company, and this and maybe
stakeholders.
Maybe a wrist lock or some sort of control option that the cameras don't pick up so easily, right? And this, again, it goes back to what you were saying. Respect what, I'm speechless here. Like, what is the broad stroke lesson?
The broad stroke lesson is respect the arts, respect the instructors and all the work they've put into them, because you don't know what you're going to need. So when I go to a course, I take pride in being able to find something to learn and to absorb and to take from it. I don't care who it is. Like, I am looking for the nuggets that are applicable to my life and my situation and who I am. And so I am looking for something to take away for my time and my investment. And so I think as people who attend these things, we need to take pride in our ability to learn, and take pride in our ability to absorb, and never throw the baby out with the bathwater. So the broad stroke is that's it right there, man. That's the true student. That's the guy who excels in all these arts much faster than the guy who thinks he knows everything.
Absolutely. And I've never been to war. I never signed the dotted line. I've never been on duty guy. I'm not an instructor. I'm not a subject matter expert. I think my mandate is to help students be better students. And by talking to people like you, look at you, man. Look at you. You've been there. You've done that. You continue to do it, and you have a true white belt mentality.
Yep.
And people forget that. People want to say that. People want to be, the player coach, the instructor student, but they're not demonstrative of it. Maybe when they see guys like you and they have opportunities to attend events like the Protector Symposium, then they can really reconnect with what those philosophies mean in a real, personal, tangible way.
Yep. And that, dude, that's huge, man, because two things. One, I run indocs for protection teams I put together for all my high net worth clients. We go to those indocs and I get a lot of military guys and law enforcement guys that are like, yeah, I've already been there. I'm a military guy. So I'm like pulling for them. I'm like, okay, hopefully you'll represent for the Marine Corps today. So we're going to do some basic quals, local law enforcement, CCW quals. And then when I see these guys struggling, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? I thought you were like, Navy SEAL, and I thought you were Marine and stuff. You know who kills it? And you know who I'm really targeting with a lot of these training options? The civilians. Because you know what the civilian did? He's like, yeah, man, I got this other job. I don't have the background. He's a little insecure about it. The military guys are like, yeah, I'm in Iraq. And then he's like, yeah, but, I've been training with this guy. And then I went to this other course. And, I try to do my dry fire. And I try to go to like jujitsu or whatever martial art during the week or, a couple times. And you know what ends up happening? He ends up outperforming. Some of the most dangerous dudes I know are civilians because they don't have the once upon a guy complex, time guy complex.
Once upon a time. I love it. Okay, go ahead.
They know that all they have is how good their training is right now. And so they're some of the most dangerous people. They're also the people I'm targeting because when the civilian population understands protection tactics, there will be much more accountability in the world. When the civilian population realizes that protectors are the white blood cells in the body of humanity, and I don't care where you come from, but hey, do you live a little bit of the protection lifestyles? Have you watched some of these videos we put out so you understand the software? You can see through the matrix, identify the threats and make moves. Do you have that? The more the population has that, the less of these incidents we'll see with body counts in the double digits. The less of these incidents we'll see where good people get victimized because they will be taking their protection serious. So I want you guys to come. I want the civilians to be there. I want the guy that's like, okay, well, I got a gun. I don't know what to do with it. Or maybe I need to get a gun. You can rent guns. There's only one stage where we're going to be actually live firing. A lot of it's going to be airsoft and Sims and Force on Force stuff. One stage will be live fire. We're going to have vehicles there. We're going to have structures there. You'll be clearing. It's going to be multidisciplinary. But this is where you can really learn a lot about the art of protection, which when you need protection, it's like a parachute. You need to know how to protect yourself and your loved ones.
Absolutely. Bro, it's always a pleasure talking with you. We've reached the hour mark. Thank you so much, man. I'm so looking forward to this happening in Tucson, Arizona.
Yes.
Right, September 16th,
17th,
18th.
17th, 18th. It's going down. One last thing, too. We're doing a driving package during the symposium. It's already sold out, but you guys will get to see what our school can do when it comes to driving, contact driving, pits, counter pits, rams, all that stuff will be happening right in the middle. And we'll be training around it. You guys will be seeing that. And our training director, Rick Sweeney, will be running that segment. So it's going to be sad.
That's super awesome. Byron, thank you for this interview. Thanks for doing what you do. I'm super looking forward to this. And I hope, hey, man, even if people who are watching this, for whatever reason, they can't make it, I hope we've provided some value in these moments that we've shared with one another.
100%. And get the ticket. Watch it online. You still will get to learn from every single instructor. You'll learn some of the most important stuff, which is the software. There's gonna be like 7 of us up there talking to you on Friday. You can watch it at your leisure, but get that ticket too, and it's ultra affordable.
Awesome, Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers,
you've got to go. You've got stuff to do, people to see.
Trying to take over the world, man.
To manage. Hey, I'm really looking forward to this. And it's always a pleasure speaking with you, brother.
Dude, thanks for having me. It's always an honor. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for introducing me to your demographic, your tribe, man. It's such an honor. It's a privilege. And you're one of the best. I love working with you, man. Have such a good time just being students of the art of protection, man. So it's an honor. Looking forward to making more cool stuff, brother.
All right, my brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right, guys, that's it. Again, hope you guys got value from that. I'm quite speechless. I'm honored to be a part of this event. I'm looking forward to meeting my homeboys, Instructor Zero, Raul Martinez, seeing Byron again. I'm looking forward to getting to know Craig and Ed and Kawa. And I hope you guys show up, man. It's going to be a great time. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hit like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're watching this and it's not live, I'm going to put everybody's links in the video description. Make sure to follow them on Instagram and get a pulse of who these people really are. All right. Thanks for your time, guys. Peace.